Hello friends, welcome to your own channel on artificial intelligence and machine learning. We are learning SQL programming. It is one of the important tool a data scientist should know. So far we have covered all of these things: DDL, DML, select query, and we have reached till joins. If you have not watched previous videos, I suggest go ahead and watch the previous videos. In our last video, we discussed about joins, different types of joins: inner join, outer join, left outer, full outer, right outer, with examples and hands-on SQL syntaxes. We also discussed semi and anti-join. Then we discussed the Cartesian join, cross join. Now in this part of the session, we are going to discuss functions. In the previous session, we also discussed cardinalities: one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-many relationships that we have to take care when we are joining two tables. Now coming to functions, when you use functions, basically, as you know, function takes an input and returns back a value. So there are three main types of functions at a higher level which we should know. String manipulation function. You will have data which has got text and you need to manipulate that text. So you should be aware of string manipulation function. Extensively while doing data analysis, we have to handle date. So we need to know how to manage date values. And third is numerical values. So basically three types of functions that we should be knowing: string, date, numerical. Besides that, there would be many other functions which we should know. In this part of the session, I would be broadly covering the important functions one should know, which are very frequently going to be used when we do SQL programming and data analysis. Specifically, when we get into data science, there are certain functions which we should be well aware of. I'm going to cover those functions in this session. So let's go to our MySQL environment. We have been using MySQL. Quickly, I want to know length of a string. The function is length. Now please understand, the functions which I cover are not very much specific to MySQL. For example, the length function. In MySQL, the name of the function is length. In some other tool, the name of the function may simply be len. The point is, at a higher level, at a broad conceptual level, you should know that, hey, there are string manipulation activities for which there would be many built-in functions in the tool being used. There would be many date manipulation functionalities. There would be many functions which will help us handle numerical values. Okay, so the name of the function may differ from tool to tool. You may have to probably do Google search and get the appropriate name. For example, here we got the length, and this query I've not yet executed. Let me go ahead, execute it. This says this string is 30 character long. I want to find out whether this string, this is search string, exists in this text, and if yes, what is the index position? Here the function is locate. Other tools may give the name of the function as index. So let's run this query. Note, here the column head has come locate search string, get the position of search string. Reason being, we did not give an alias. So let's say search. I've now given the alias. The column now changes to the alias name. search. Here we are now searching where is at the rate occurring in the email ID. At the rate occurs at the 12th character position. I now write the syntax where I'm trying to search hash. Because the hash character is not found, it returns back 0. So we can see locate function returns the index position where the search string is found. In case the search string is not located, it will return the value 0. Okay, I want to concatenate two strings. I can use this syntax. In many of the tool, you can even write the syntax something like this. So this has not given us the desired result, but many of the tools allow concatenation to happen by the plus operation. But here we have the concat functionality. Some tools allow concatenation to happen using pipe operator. So let me try this also. This also does not give the desired result. Okay. So I'll delete this one. Left. From this string, I want the left 4 characters. So if I run this, it returns back data because the left 4 characters are data. I want to return back the right 8 characters. In machine learning, the right 8 characters are learning. So I get the word learning. Substring. I want the text which is somewhere in the middle. This is the starting index position, and then I want 2 characters from the starting index position. So I get the value AS. 4th character is A, and 5th character, 2 characters AS. Good. Here I want 4 characters substring. Now, one of the common text manipulation function is basically trimming the empty spaces. Quite often, the text that we get may have some leading spaces in the beginning, or it may have trailing spaces at the end. We may want to remove those leading and trailing spaces. So here first I will run this text. You can see the data analytics has got spaces in the beginning and at the end. Now I say trim. Trim function will trim both the leading and the trailing spaces. So here you can see there are no leading and no trailing spaces. ltrim is left trim. It will remove the leading spaces, but the trailing spaces remain. rtrim function will remove the trailing spaces but not the leading one. So here you can see the leading spaces are still there. Soundex. Sometimes what happens when we do deduplication, the information of same customer available multiple times, and we have to identify the multiple records belong to same customer. Most of the information is matching, but a few information, because of 1 character, 2 character here and there, it does not match. For example, Ram is spelled as RAM. Now if I run this query where I'm checking whether this is equal to this, it will give me false because it will do exact match. So it ends up giving me false. Typically the case when syntax starts from here, case when, then the condition comes here. If the condition is true, then what you want to do. Else part is not mandatory, but in this case we require the else part. After the else part, you use the term end In case you don't put the else part, even then the syntax is okay. In this case, what will happen? It will return null. And finally, you give the alias. Okay. So let me just say case when. If I run the syntax, this time it will return null because the else part is not there. So let us just add the else part again. Okay, I hope the case when syntax is also clear. Now to build such logic, which are called fuzzy logic, where we see how the sound for two text is. If the sound of the two text is more or less same, we should consider them similar. So here I'll use Soundex function. Soundex function returns using some algorithmic calculation, returns a value, and we'll also do Soundex of RAM with 2 A's. And now if I compare the Soundex, you will see the output is true. Okay, so this is an example of Soundex function used in case when. Okay, the column title changes. Another example, sometimes in address people write / and sometimes hyphen, and because of it you may say that two people are different because of the small change. But if you use Soundex, you will see the Soundex of both of them will be same and it will end up giving you true. I hope the Soundex function is also clear. So I have explained some basic string functions. There are many more string functions. Any given point of time you feel that, hey, I am having a particular string function, string manipulation to be done, you can always do Google search. Once you know how to use these functions, you can always do Google search and find out more string functions which are there in MySQL. Okay, we have just covered length, locate, concat, trim, left trim, right trim, left, right, substring. Okay, now let's see some of the date management functions. Now is a function which will give you current date with timestamp. So you can see the date is 11 November 2022, sorry, 11 December 2022 and 1:45 p.m. There is also another function, current date. So if I run this function, it gives you only the date. One of the important thing that you have to note is when you see the date, most of these data management tool will show the date in YYY MMDD format. This is the convention most of the tools will follow. Now here I run the code, select year. Note, I gave the data as a string. Automatically the tool will understand because the format is correct. It is in YYY MMDD format. The tool will automatically pick up that this string is actually a date. For example, if I now change year to month, it has taken the 10 as the month component. If we replace the month by day, it will automatically take 11 as the day component. The reason being, if you provide date and it is given in YYY mmdd format, the tool will, I'm saying when I'm using the word tool, I mean it any data management tool, because this is a standard convention followed across all data management tool, be it MySQL, be it Postgre, Oracle, or be it Python, be it R, Java. Any programming software will automatically correctly interpret this information. Okay, we have already seen the month and the day function, so let me change it back to year. We have other functions like, okay, week. So it says that it is the 50th week. So I'll first change this to 12 so it reflects the current date. Okay, and let me have current date coming here so you can understand. And here I will say week, and which week it is, we don't require the now, we can say current date. Okay, so current date is 11 December, and which week it is, it says the current week running is the 50th week. If I want to know what is the weekday, the weekday is 6. Now the date is 11 December, it is Sunday. Because it is Sunday, it is showing the value 6, which means 0 being Monday. So when the function weekday gives you the output, if it shows 0, it will be Monday. If it shows 1, it will be Tuesday. And if it shows 6, it is Sunday. A quick exercise. Express the date in YYYMMDD as string format. Express the date in YYYMMDD as integer format. So basically the thing is, you write a syntax which is something like this, current date, and then you write some function here which will show the current date in YYYMMDD as a string, and then you write some logic here which will show the same information as integer. You may do Google search to find the solution. Pause the video, try to find the answer. This is how you are going to learn, because in the recording I may not be able to cover all the possible functions, and I may not be able to tell you what are the all possible ways in which you may face a business problem or you may have the requirement. So the solution is, you should know how to go about using functions, and you should be able to do Google search to build logic to solve your problems. Okay, let me show the answer. There is a date format function by which you can format and get the output in desired format. So here, first let me show you the date function. Now gives you date with a timestamp. If you enclose it in a date function, the timestamp component will be knocked off. You can do addition, subtraction. So if I run this code, you can see the date is shown as 2022-12-10. Let us run the code once again. Like this. I have date now and date with -1. Okay. The information is left aligned, which means it is a text. Because if it is number, it would be right aligned. So if I do -0, it shows me this. Let us try one more thing. I do casting. Okay, the cast function does not work like this. Cast function works like this with a cast, and then you say which data type, int. There is some error, it seems. Okay, it says that you cannot cast it as integer. If I say string text, not sure what it requires here. So probably is not a valid at this point. Expecting for lock select, it should be able to cast it. Okay, it takes care. Let's run this. And then can I again put this cast because we have converted it as char as int. Not sure why. But now it is like an integer as numeric. Okay, it's not happening. Okay, I'll give up. But the point is, if I do some Google search, I'll get the answer. So this is another approach. I leave that as a self exercise for you. Okay. Now there are other solutions which we can use. We can use date format. And here I'm converting now to date, or we can directly say current date. Okay. Now note, date format, what we are saying is we want to format this date, whatever is the current date, %y. First I'll remove this tilde, I'll make it normal. %y is an abbreviation to say I want the date in 4y format. And then let's make this as m. %m, small m, is to say I want the year component. %d is to say I want the day component. And now if you put this hyphen, or I put many hyphens, these are just like placeholders. From the date, I'm saying get me the year component in 4y component, 4y format. Then put 5 hyphens. Then get me the month component. Then put 5 hyphens, and then put the day component. If I replace this small m by capital M is an indicator that it should give me the full month. So if I run the syntax, it will give me this output. What I can do is I can run the syntax something like this. And put a space and then put a comma, space like this. December 11, 2022. I replace this by a B Small percentage B is to indicate that give me the year in 3-character format, the month of the year in the 3-character, Jan, Feb, March, like this. So you can see the output. So there is a date format function by which you can do the required formatting of the date. Couple of more examples are there. I'll just quickly run it. So this gives me 2022 December Sunday. Everything is sticking to each other, not looking good. So probably we can make it slightly better. We can have this like this, and we can have this coming Sunday, December, comma, okay, Sunday, December 11, 2022. Okay. This one is also not looking good. We change this, make it like this. December will come abbreviated form. And before that, we want Sunday to be shown as abbreviated. Then this will move forward, cut it and paste it here. Okay, Sunday, December 11, 2022, Sunday and the month both are in abbreviated formats. Some of these abbreviations of date formatting is what I have shown. There are more abbreviations to handle: the hour component, the month component, the second component. I leave that as a practice exercise for you people to figure it out. Here, what you have to note is I am giving input as a date. This is the date. And this date, we are converting it into string format. What if I get input as a string, which is something like this? And I wish to convert it to date. Kindly find the function by which you can convert a string to date format. Pause the video, find the answer, and then we will see the solution. Okay, I hope you would have found the answer. If not, I'll give you the clue. The answer to this is to make use of a function which is string to date. Okay, this is the function that you have to use. Okay, let me move forward. I'll show the answer later, but let's have some examples. I had asked two practice exercises. One is express the date in a string format. We have learned that extensively. And second was express the date in integer format. Now there is a solution where what we will do is we'll convert the date to integer format. The step-by-step solution is shown here. First, I'll use the year component, which will give me the year. I will multiply it by 10,000. To this year component, I will add the month component, and I will multiply the month component by 100. And finally, I will add the day component. So I'm just first running these three functions. It will just give me year, and 4 zeros have been put at the end. The 2 zeros will have to be replaced by the month component. The last 2 has to be replaced by the day component. To this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the month component. And then to this, I'm going to add the day component. So the solution would look like this. Select whatever is the year component. To that you add the month component and then add the day component. So current date, the query is there. So here you can see current date. This current date expressed as an integer, and in a formatted way it is expressed as a string. Week, weekday, other things we have already seen. I want to add date. I want to add 2 years ahead, or I want to subtract 2 years. So there is a function date add. The function name is date add, but if you give positive values, it will go ahead, forward. If you give negative values, it will go behind. So here, what is the current date? Let's see. Current date is 11 December 2022. And this become 11 December 2024. And if I do date add minus 2 years, it becomes 11 December 2020. Okay. How you can work with addition is also understood. This is string to date. I gave you the practice exercise. You have to convert this to date. I am taking a different example. You have to solve this yourself. Here I have given the day 31, then the month, and then the year. I have intentionally put tildes. You can have anything. Now I have to tell the query analyzer that, hey, this string is actually a date, but it is not given in a conventional format of YYY-MM-DD. So I need to give it the format. So what I say, the format is %D, 2 characters for the day format. Then there are tildes which you should ignore, but I have to inform that there are 2 tildes. Then there is a month component in 2 character, 2 digit format. Then there is again 2 tildes, and then there is a year in 4 digit format. If I run this, it will convert the string to the date format, and because it has converted the string to the date format, it is expressing the date in YYY-MM-DD. Now here I have the month expressed in 3 character Jan, Feb, March 3 character format. I have to specify %M. I think %M will not work. It should be not %M, it should be %B. Okay, with %B it is working properly. Now if I give it like this, it gave me null. %B has to be replaced by capital M. Now it gave the right output. If the month is given in 3 character format, the abbreviation is %B, and if it is given in full month format, January, February, March, like this, you have to use %M. We have already seen interval function. So if there is a date, first we can convert it and then we can add. So these are more practice exercises. Now, one of the important thing, this is an example which I learned from insurance project. See, when you take an insurance, if you have an insurance taken on say 25th of January 2021, in that case your insurance, let me put it 27. If you have taken insurance on 27th of January 2021, then the end date of the insurance will be 26th of January 2022. Now, if I try to see what is the term of this insurance using a function timestamp diff. It gives me the term as 0. But we know it is a 1-year term insurance. The term of the insurance is 1 year because the start date is 27 January, end date is 26 January 2022. That's how insurances are given. What you will have to do, if you have to get this answer correct, you have to add 1 day, because if you use this timestamp diff, it will give you the term as 0 year, because we are trying to see the difference in the two dates in year. So the correct way to get the answer for this would be, here I'll have to add this, I'll have to make 27. This is wrong. Here this function has to move up. So you can see this is 26th January. Sorry. This is +1. This is the start date of the insurance, 26 January 2021. The end date is 25th January 2022. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, sorry, this query is okay. In this query, the smaller date should be beginning. The smaller date should be in the beginning. The larger date should be at the end. So I assume the policy has been taken on 26 January. It will end on 25th January 2022. The difference is 0. Now here the policy has been taken on 26 January. The policy ends on 25th January 2022. And because we are adding 1 day, this time you will get the term as proper 1 year. My mistake, I put the larger date ahead and the smaller date later. Okay, this is just the function, how you have to pass the parameter. We need to know, as per the function, we need to pass the parameters in that order. I hope the main point you got. So if you are doing some calculation, sometimes you may realize that you don't get the desired result because of 1 day difference. Okay. Now here, this is a 2-year term insurance. The policy has been taken on 26 January 2020. The policy will end on 25th January 2022, but the term comes up 1 year. I leave this as a practice assignment for you to make necessary changes so you can get the right term of the insurance. So these are practical problems you can understand. Some practice exercises. Get the month number of the date, which is 165 days ahead of the current date. From a string, which is data is the new oil, get the index position of the word oil. Small practice exercises. Pause the video, get the solution, and the solution, both of them is shown here. 2 more string manipulation function, oil. Now here, if I run the query, oil is given in small case, and this oil has O in the uppercase, L in the uppercase. Let me write this completely uppercase. It is still able to search because the search is case insensitive. However, sometimes in some programming tools, you may find that the search is case sensitive. The better approach is to run these such search is convert the search string either to uppercase or lowercase. Let me convert to lower, and the other text also you should convert to lower. Now you don't need to bother whether the text which you are searching and the text in which you want to look up, what is the case? It is upper, lower, mixed, proper, improper. You have converted the entire text into one case. Okay. Time zone. Date handling is very tricky. The challenge with date handling is, assume you are in India, your server is in some other country. The database may be configured because the server is in other country according to that time zone. As a result, your dates transaction that is happening in India may not be reflecting the proper date time in that server. Here, what I would like to tell you, there are two different data types in Python. One is date time and second is timestamp. The timestamp data type is designed to handle data which is in coordinated universal time format, UTC time format. Okay. So most of the time when you have this kind of a challenge, you should preferably use timestamp as the data type and not date time. That is point number one. Second is, if you have to configure this usage of UTC time, you may have to follow certain steps on Windows where your MySQL is installed. So I'm showing you the steps. You will have to, step one, you will have to go to this website and download a zip file, unzip it, and follow the subsequent steps. Step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Okay, and then test. I'm not going to handle this as part of this video, but at a higher level, I have given you there are two main data types for date time. One is a date time and second is timestamp. And when our server is located in another country, if you are in India, your transactions are happening in India, but the server is in another country, it may possibly happen that the date is stored in that country time format, time zone format. There may be a difference. What I mean by it, the transaction is happening at 3:30 p.m. India time, but the transaction might be reflecting as 10 a.m. because the server is in some other country, because of the 5:30 hour difference. You need to be cognizant of it. This is a slightly tricky concept and topic. At this point of time, I'm not going to go much in detail, but I'll just show you one query, how to convert information. For example, the current timestamp of my machine is saying it's 2:20 p.m. It's showing in a UTC format because India is plus 5:30 hours. So in a UTC format, this 14 will be shown as 1950 plus 530. Okay. And then this is US Eastern time format, which is running behind. So it is doing a subtraction of 5 hours. Okay. So this is what on the time zone. Handling time zone is always tricky. You need to be very particular about the project in which you are working. I'll stop at this level on the time zone format. Okay. Having spoken about various functions, let's just cover a couple of numerical functions. I want to find max of two numbers. This is going to give me error. This is going to give me error. Because max is a function which you can apply on a column. Okay. For example, select star from courses, the table which we have already created earlier. If I want to find max duration, I can apply this summary function. Sorry, max duration from courses. I can apply this summary function. But if I want to find max of two numbers, you have to use something called greatest. And then you cannot use a max. Okay. If I want to find the minimum of the two numbers, you cannot. Why? Min function is again you can apply on a column. But I want min of the two numbers. So in that case, you will have to use the function least. I got the least. You want to do sum, you cannot do the sum. Why? Because sum is again a function which you can use on a column. But if you want to do sum, in that case, you will have to do straightforward addition. Okay. Oh, not from courses. Like this. Then you know round. Round function is for rounding off. I want to show this number at two decimal places. These are some commonly used mathematical functions which you may probably require. Great. I hope you have learned the various important functions: string manipulation, date manipulation, and numerical functions. More as you practice, you will learn. You have to do Google search as you have some practical problem statement while solving your office work and you are stuck. You may have to do Google search to find out the right function. There is another important function which is Coalesce. Let me just tell you Coalesce. As I mentioned, I will cover some of the important functions. The Coalesce function takes number of input. For example, the first input value is null and second value is 10. A Coalesce, what will happen is, if assume this is you're running this query on a table, say there's a table, select, and there are, I'm giving a scenario, Coalesce, there is dt1, dt2, dt3. There are three date column from some table name. And the condition is if dt1 is there, it is not null, you have to take dt1. If datetime1 is null, in that case you have to give importance to datetime2. If datetime2 is also null, then you have to give priority to datetime3. And if datetime3 is also there, you may give priority to now. So what Coalesce is going to do, it is going to see if this value is null, it will consider the value from here. If it is null, it will consider the value from here. If it is null, it will consider the value from here. So this is what I'm trying to show here. There are three values now. Coalesce null 10, 20. It is going to return 10. But if this null would not have been here, and this would be 10, and this null would have been here, and this 10 is instead 30, it is going to give priority to 30. Now, if this would have been null and the last value is populated, the first two are null, so the last value is given the priority. This is what Coalesce function is. I quickly recollected that this is one of the important functions to be discussed. I've discussed it and I've given you the application also. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the session. We have covered string, date, and some numerical mathematical functions. These are the important functions that we should know while handling data, because most of the time we'll be having structured data because we are talking of database. And when we talk of structured data, these are the types of functions very frequently we will come across. With this, I conclude the session on functions. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the session. Kindly like if you really enjoyed and you're enjoying learning from the videos which I have put. I hope you understand it takes time and effort to create the videos. Like, subscribe, and definitely share. As I am sharing my knowledge, kindly share the link with your friends. In upcoming session, we will discuss window functions. Window functions are very important functions one should know. These are analytical functions. Analytical functions like lag, lead, rank, dense rank, okay, row number. Some of these important functions are required when you handle large amount of transactional data. You require lag data, you require lead data, or when you want to rank the customers based on their sales, based on the revenue margins, profitability, etc. Okay, having discussed what we are going to cover in the upcoming session, once again, thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. See you in the upcoming session. Bye bye.